Good morning, everybody, and welcome to your Rangers Review morning briefing. It is Friday, the 14th of February. It's Valentine's Day, and to join me, I'm delighted to say that Stevie Clifford has arrived in his wonderful Rangers room to talk all things Rangers. How's it going, Stevie?
Yeah, mate, going fine. Thank you, can't complain. Hope everybody is well, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Derek, do you know what? I don't know about this wee room because I thought it was a good idea. You know what I mean? It's out the way. Up in the loft was a total nightmare. I never got reception. You knew how difficult it was. Sometimes it was cutting off and all that. And then I do this and I've had nothing but absolute pelters for it. I've got two young kids that run about the house all day.
Yeah.
You know, it's really difficult to find a good space for myself that I can leave set up and all that. And then you do it. And all I've had on social media lately is absolute pelters of people. And it's just like, what do you do? So
Well, as long as you're happy with it, Stevie.
I was happy, mate. I'm not sure I am anymore. Like, what do I do? Just sit out in the street? Like, honestly.
Yeah, no, I think, it's better than recording outside, I would say. But nice little backdrop there. So keep with it is what I would say. But let us know in the comments, folks, are you a fan of Stevie's little Rangers room there, or should he move to another location? Anyway, let's crack on. Before we do, just a bit of admin. If you haven't subscribed, if you hit that subscribe button, folks, it'd be very much appreciated. As Aldo wonderfully put yesterday, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't get wide, as he says. But according to the old stats, the number boards are looking at it, half of you that tune into the morning briefing aren't subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, folks. Hit the notification bell. You never miss a video when we go live. There's plenty more content on the channel aside from the morning briefing. And I know that many of you were complaining about ads popping up yesterday on the show. We've had a look at that as well. We had reduced the settings on that, but we've taken it off completely. So if you are watching live, then fingers crossed you shouldn't be getting any more ads coming up when you watch the show. So here we go. Right, let's crack on in. Stevie, big news yesterday, of course, but there's been very little news this week, let's be honest. However, of course, we've seen now the minutes of Patrick Stewart's meeting with the Rangers Fan Advisory Board. A couple of interesting points of note to come out from that. Now, he met with the Fan Advisory Board last week prior to that Scottish Cup meeting with Queen's Park, and the minutes from that show that Patrick Stewart saying that the decision to retain Philippe Clement is not financially driven, but rather a recognition that there is so much else to fix in the footballing department. It's not a financial decision. I've seen many on social media, Stevie, saying, well, if it's not financial, then it's down to footballing reasons. Why is he still here?
Do you really want another 30 minutes of me
Teen you up.
going on about Philippe Clement? Look, the only issue I've got is that every time there's a review, we hear the same things. You know, this football department, this club, this training ground, this etc. 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 And it's a bit. I think there's a bit of frustration for everyone behind that, Derek. So if it's not financial, great, but it leads to just more questions about why they're not then pulling the trigger, and you know, what are they seeing that persuades them? And if there's more things to fix, then I would think it's wise that they try and dialogue what is really going on as quickly as possible to give us a better sense of what they feel the issues are. So, you know, I'm not sure about this review, in all honesty, but let's see what it finds out. I think Patrick Stewart said he's looking in the region of 8 to 12 weeks or something. So we're not even scratched the surface in terms of before we find out. But I also don't think you can just hide after a result on Sunday, and just because these minutes were before this game.
I know.
So I don't think you can just hide and, you know, kind of breeds contempt and anger amongst the support even more, because people want accountability, people want answers, rightly or wrongly. And just to turn up today at the press conference and just think that everything's all right and we can just get on with it, then I'm not sure that's the best way to approach it, but it's certainly the approach Rangers have taken now. So if it's not financial, then it's perhaps worth a discussion about why he is still staying and what they see in it. But listen, I'm too far gone the other way to be objective on it now. So it's difficult to look at it and try and understand their viewpoint. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we've stressed it. I mean, it was before that game. I'm with you, Stevie. It will be interesting, incidentally, when we hear from Philippe Clement this afternoon. That press conference will take place. We should hear from around 2:30 this afternoon. So, yeah. Listen, I'm not too sure how much we're going to get from these press conferences. He has normally, when he pitches up at these, it's more of a PR thing more than anything else. And you've put questions to him before, Stevie. I know you put a question to him at the weekend, whether he would offer his resignation, and he said no, he didn't plan either to be speaking to the Rangers board after that debacle on Sunday. But you'll hear what he had to say, folks, over on the YouTube channel. So keep your eyes peeled for that if you can stomach anything that he's got to say ahead of Sunday's game at Tynecastle against Hearts. Also, to emerge from the minutes of that meeting, Patrick Stewart confirmed the company behind Rangers' internal review, and it is the New York-based Sportsology Group. Now, they've worked with a number of sports clubs in the past, baseball's Boston Red Sox. I think they've worked with some NFL clubs, and they are now working on this review into Rangers football operations. Apparently, they're headed up by former Chelsea's Mike Ford, who used to be a director at Chelsea by all accounts. But a New York-based company, Stevie. I can't say I had heard of them before that was confirmed yesterday. But like you say, it will be interesting to see what the findings of this review are when it is finally concluded.
I suppose the kind of only thing that I can take from that, the positive, is that they're completely out with the loop. They've got no idea of Rangers as a business or a standing. Yeah. So they're going in with a blank kind of page of expectation of what they think it maybe should be like. And if they can identify quite quickly where it's gone wrong and business practices and spend and coaching stuff that is wrong, then great. So if they can do that, and they're not connected in any way, Derek, I think that's what I'm trying to get at. You know, they are completely out the loop. They don't have any affiliation to Rangers. They don't have any affiliation to anybody within the club. So that might be a positive where they can just go in and be very objective and look at it from that point of view. So I think that's the only thing I can really take from it. They've got history in it, great, but I can't, pretend to say, oh yeah, I know all about them, etc. So they're just another business, but at least they are far removed from the goings on and not emotionally tied to anything, etc. So maybe we might get some answers. It would be nice to see, but every time a review like this happens, Derek, we don't really hear anything about it and the objectives and what's going to be done and stuff like that. So I sincerely hope that this is one that will yield positive changes and positive results.
Yeah, let's hope so. Other news, spoke to Joshua yesterday, Stevie, about the academy changes. Keen to get your view on that. Of course, Kevin Thompson has returned to assist Stevie Smith, and there'll be a more focus on the under-18s more than anything else, and getting some of the young lads out on loan that have passed that age. New rules for Dave McCallum and Malky Thompson as well. The changes within the academy is something that you think could be a positive thing, given the sort of state of it, I guess, at this point in time this season. Of course, I think something had to be done. It hadn't been working for Rangers, but what do you make of the changes?
Well, they're certainly interesting. I think I spoke about this before, and my position hasn't really changed with you. And in terms of, there's absolutely no point in stockpiling guys that are early 20s, and these guys are no longer young boys anymore. And if you're keeping guys that are 21, 22, and they're not in the first team picture to play B team games, then the boat's really kind of sailed for them. And that's where we need to maybe think about changing it up. So I can understand trying to, breed the younger boys in that kind of arena earlier. So your idea is now to use the 17, 18s, which will be headed up by Smudger and KT, which is two really good guys and two guys that I know fairly well and stuff. And they are, good coaches within the right. I'm a huge fan of Kevin Thompson, always have been. And I hope that he would bring that kind of desire and stuff through. But so from that point of view, I can understand why they're doing it, because you're paying. We've spoken about this before, Derek, as well. You're paying these boys a lot of money. Your Alex Lowry's, your Cole McKinnon's, your Adam Devines and Leon Kings, etc. And it's no harm to these boys. It's not a criticism of them in any way at all. But you've seen it with Ross McCausland. As soon as he broke into the first team, there was teams trying to nick him. There was teams trying to get him. We're forced to pay an overinflated wage and stuff like that. And it maybe wouldn't have happened if he had a better structure behind it and stuff like that. And then you get stuck with these players. You can't get rid of them. You can't get them out on loan. You can't, help them further their career, and they stagnate. So I get it. Look, these changes make sense. I understand it completely with regards to that. Whether or not it'll work, we'll wait and see. As I said, I'm really fond of the idea. I think it makes sense, to get young boys into that level. So I understand that a change in kind of thinking behind it, Derek. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I want to just reiterate as well, I'm not blaming these boys for getting these contracts or being able to command that. That's not my point. I'm just saying, for us as a club, it's not working. None of these boys that we've kept around at that age have amounted to anything for us as a club. And I think that's where it becomes really difficult. So we need to have a better structure, something that, they are implementing. So we need to allow that, I think, a bit of change, and also having nowhere for these boys to play in terms of leagues and that. It becomes really difficult to, to service that kind of, demand for having them in the first place. So, yeah, it's interesting. I can understand completely why they're doing it. And maybe it might accelerate a few of the younger boys playing at a better level, giving them first team experience, etc. But we need to stop stockpiling on to these boys. I think for the good of their own career and for the good of us, then you need to try and fix that model somehow. So they've certainly made those changes, which is it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, lots of comments coming in. Let's get to a few of them. All About Rangers says, I've said this before, the old reserve league needs to be brought back. Nothing was wrong with it. Yep, that's one of the footballing things I would be bringing back to the modern game. I was a big fan of that myself, and I don't see the reason why it was done away with. I know it has its detractors, but for me, you can't beat reserve team football. Young boys coming in, playing with senior pros. Just on the room, Stevie, gotten a few comments about that. Jeeb, good friend of the show, says, space is great, mate. Don't allow jealousy to change your opinion. So there you've got a big supporter there. And getting lots of support as well for my jersey that I'm wearing. Simon had a pie, says Derek, sporting a goal. That's so top. What a show that was, Stevie. Football Italia. That's another thing that we should be bringing back to the modern game. Love getting up a weekend, watching that with James Richardson at a weekend. Italian football has never been the same when that was ditched.
I used to love it when he did like the paper review, when he was sitting at the wee table with a coffee and that, and he would go through all the papers, telling us what the headline says and all that kind of stuff. And I remember watching it when it was Gascoigne's move and the excitement surrounding that and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, used to love the Italian football. Juventus, obviously, Vialli and Ravanelli, and then the AC Milan team. I'm not even sure why. I've always had a kind of soft spot for AC Milan. With the players that they've had, and I'm not sure why. It's just like if I had to choose my Italian team, which I don't have, but who's your kind of one you gravitate towards?
Milan would be yeah. They've got a sort of soft spot for them.
I'm not sure why. Obviously, I'd have to point out at this moment in time it's Napoli, and
yes,
I'd want Napoli to do really well and hopefully go out there soon. To see Billy and see how stuff's getting on and over there. But I don't know why I've always kind of had a soft spot for AC Milan and that kind of thing. It's a weird thing, I think, but it's not like I support them or anything. That's not the case. It's just only support one team, and they're stressful enough.
There was some side in the 90s, Stevie. I think that was probably one of the best defences, at least, I've ever seen in football at that time. And they had George Weah up front, who was just frightening. And then, of course, Laudrup for a little bit before he came to Rangers. I did very much enjoy watching that back in the day. Aldo says Batigol and Fiorentina.
Rui Costa.
Rui
Costa and Matt Stewart.
Yeah. Absolute legends back then. Very much missed that on the show. Sloop says too much football on TV now takes away the buzz. Last I think you're bang on with that. It's very saturated now, isn't it? You can watch games every day, and everyone knows everything about teams now. But Football Italia, bring it back. Channel 4, if you're watching, then get your house in order and bring it back pronto. Other news. I mean, we'll have a quick chat about Tynecastle. How we expect Rangers to line up, I guess. But there's some other points of note, of course, in terms of the Europa League. Rangers opponents, we know we could face either Fenerbahce, Bodo Glimt, FC20 or Anderlecht. Well, Fenerbahce thumped Anderlecht 3-0 last night at home ahead of the second leg next week in Belgium. So you would imagine that Jose Mourinho's side have got one step into that last 16. The FC20 Bodo Glimt match finished 2-1 to 20 in Enschede, so they head over to Norway for that second leg, so it's more finely poised, that one. Of the three sides, Stevie, is there anyone you would prefer to face? I think we can rule out Anderlecht at this moment in time unless something dramatic happens.
It depends. I mean, are you asking me for a purely selfish point of view, I would like to play Fenerbahce for Jose Mourinho. Yeah. And the chance to do a press conference and see him would be unreal because I think he's iconic. And on the other hand, as soon as I say that, I would like to avoid them massively for the kind of team they are. Obviously, the Jekos, etc. of this world, even though they're a wee bit older, are still going to be really, really difficult. 20, Sam Lammers. Sure, Sam would be delighted to see us again. I don't know. Aye, well, you know how football works. So
yeah,
I would like to give us the best opportunity to go through. That's for sure. Is Fenerbahce that best opportunity? Probably not. So selfishly, from a Jose Mourinho point of view, yeah, great. But from a Rangers point of view, stay away from them if we can.
Yeah.
Would you come up for a Jose Mourinho press conference, Derek, at Ibrox?
He's box office, isn't he? Yep. He's one of the biggest names in the game, even still. When he speaks, you listen. One of those guys. I don't care about that. I would like to avoid Jose Mourinho and Fenerbahce. Of the teams, probably 20. Bodo Glimt. I mean, given the fact Bodo Glimt won't have started their season properly when Rangers, should they play them if they get the better of 20. So it could be a good time to play them perhaps. But we'll cross that bridge when we come. I think the draw, I guess, will be this time next week. Well, next Friday anyway, I'd imagine. And we should learn our fate. That first leg taking place, I believe, is it the 6th of March? With the second leg, it will be at Ibrox the following week. I've also had a quick look at who they could face if they get to the quarterfinals, and some tasty teams in there, shall we say. But let's get past the round of 16 first, and then we can concentrate on that. But that's just a heads up of those score lines from last night, folks. Other news from yesterday, it doesn't directly affect Rangers, Stevie, but can you get your thoughts on it? Martyn Waghorn has announced his retirement from the game at the age of 35. He was most recently at Northampton Town. of course, played a major role in Rangers getting up into the Premiership under Mark Warburton. If you remember, he was one of the double signing from Wigan alongside James Tavernier. And I think he's someone that I've always got a bit of a soft spot for. Waggy did well at the time, left. I think made Rangers a wee bit of money, I'm sure. He went to Ipswich, didn't he, when he left Rangers? And all the best in your retirement. Your memories of Martyn Waghorn, Stevie?
Having a really cultured left foot. Really liked him. Did a power of work. Was treated really poorly. Let him go at the wrong time. They subsequently, I don't think, paid very much for him. And then they sold him the year later for $9 million. So it's the most Rangers-like thing that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And really liked him. Really good guy to deal with. When I first started Four Lads, we did a big fundraiser for Rangers Youth Development. He's seen it online, sent me some signed boots to help auction and give away. And that was just off his own back. So as a person, Martyn Waghorn, I think, is a total gem. As a footballer, as a striker, really liked him. Worked really hard, had a really good left foot, scored lots of good goals.
Yeah,
Hibs won where we beat them 4-2, 4-3.
Yeah, I was there. Some game
4-3. He kind of bent in and cut on his left foot. I remember him always having a wee kind of bromance with Peter Lovenkrands, because every time Lovenkrands was commentating on Waggy's goals and that, he loved them. So I think the pair of them got on really well. But a lot of good goals for Rangers. I remember one at Fir Park as well, in a cup game at the start of Warburton's Premier League year.
Yeah,
was really good. I think it was a League Cup group stage.
Yeah,
and we won 2-0, and he scored a really nice goal there as well. Really nice striker of the ball. As I said, somebody that I thought got treated pretty poorly and shoved out the club by the manager at that time. But all round, when you consider what you paid for Waggy and the job that he did, really likeable player, really likeable guy as well. So no bad words to say about Martyn Waghorn, except congratulations on your retirement, Waggy, and all the best.
Yeah, no, I had a good career, did Martyn Waghorn. Lots of good comments come in. Stephen says, Waghorn looks like the front man of Level 42. Showing your age there, buddy. Mark King, I think you're alluding to. But just had a quick look at him, and I can see why you would say there was a bit of a resemblance there. But that goal against Hibs, that's the one that stands out. Like you say, that the Motherwell one. Decent player, and echo Stevie's thoughts. Wish him all the best in his retirement. Tynecastle then, Stevie. First of all, do you expect Rangers to sell out the away end? Think that there'll still be many there? Yeah.
I mean, we go everywhere, don't we? So we may moan about it, we may absolutely hate it, but we're there every week, aren't we? So as a support, the away support are pretty unrivaled. So I would expect, and there's not many tickets, is there? 500, 700, maybe something like that maximum.
Yeah, they've reduced it a lot.
It'll be sold out. Look, David Herd gave us a couple of really interesting facts last night after the Berwick Rangers defeat. Rangers went to Tynecastle and won. They played Hearts a week after and won 5-1. After Hamilton in the late 80s. Rangers played Hearts a week after and won 5-2. So we're now Queen's Park, which is the kind of, your three huge results. We go to Tynecastle and play Hearts a week after. So while we win 5-3, doubtful. I'm not sure who would score 5 goals. But certainly could concede 3. We'd probably, I said this last night, probably likely be up 5-0 and then concede 3 and panic, and not enjoy it till the end of the game. But look, Derek, this may sound really defeatist. I don't think it matters anymore on Sunday. We're not going to get caught in second. We'll win the majority of our home games, hopefully. Away form will be sketchy. We'll win, we'll draw, we'll get beat, whatever. It'll be up and down, because I think that's what they've shown us so far. I think in terms of Sunday, you can't make 18 changes to a squad, unfortunately, because there's nobody in that team who merits a start or merits coming back in. How do you fix that? I don't think you can. It's kind of papering over cracks all over the place. So even if they go and win, I don't think it'll change the mood of anyone.
No, I don't think it will, no.
if they get beat, you're just further, or draw. If you don't win, then you're further antagonising everybody. But I think Hearts are in a position, maybe 1 defeat in 10, I think I read. So they'll be well up for it. And everybody will smell blood playing us now, Derek. So be interesting to see how they come and have a go. If they do have a go at us, we're fragile, as away games have shown. And that's the worry. But I don't know how other people feel. It'd be interesting to see how the comments and that are. But when it comes to Sunday, it's not that I don't care. That's not the right attitude towards it. But I'm just scunnered with everything at the moment that I've not even considered Sunday. And even if it comes and goes, I'm not sure a win makes me feel any better. I'm not sure a defeat would make me feel even worse. It's just one of those ones where you're now kind of in a situation of apathy until proper decisions are made. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I get your point. Listen, I actually do fancy Rangers to win on Sunday, but like you, I don't think it changes the mood a great deal. Fans have made their minds up on them. Rangers domestic season, as we know, is done in February. Can't remember the last time it was done so early. I mean, the league, Rangers have played catch up for a number of seasons now, but for the Scottish Cup to go awry so early as well is certainly a new one. So,
Paul Gwyn era, Derek. We got beat by Dunfermline. Durant took the game.
3-2
after, and we were done very early in the season also. So I can't really remember.
Walter came in, then there was an immediate uplift, wasn't there?
Well, yeah, the players had no choice.
Against Celtic, Ugo Ehiogu, and then things there was optimism in there again.
Yeah, so yeah, he did. Obviously, I think he bought Ugo, didn't he? He bought Davy Weir, Kevin Thompson came in, Jeremy Clement went out to France. So we shuffled around a bit. I mean, Walter even got a tune out of Sibo. Like, that's how, you know what I mean? I remember Walter, that 1-0 game he started at Parkhead, he started Sibo up front, and just because he ran about, he was like a big bulldog up there. And he was absolutely hopeless, like, he still managed to torment them. I think there's Stephen Presley playing at the back, and he managed to occupy them enough that day. And it was Walter could get a tune or get somebody doing anything that he wanted. So he was special, wasn't he? But that was the start of the recovery. And at the moment, we're in an almost identical situation. I'd be interested to know how many points we were behind when Le Guen went. But it was certainly, season was over really early in his tenure, that's for sure. And yes, we've had troublesome years where things have gone awry and stuff early doors, but to be in this situation where it's done and dusted and you've now got a series of glorified friendlies to the end of the season, then it is a difficult one.
Yeah, Andrew with the point, he says Walter got players in who would fight for everything. Yes, he did, and he's very sadly missed. Oh, I would love a Walter Smith in charge of Rangers right now. I certainly don't think Rangers would be 13 points behind Celtic in the league, but major work required. We'll wrap up there. Big thank you to Stevie. Just a reminder then, folks, press conference day at 2:30 this afternoon. Are you heading along to the training centre today, Stevie?
No. I am not. In all seriousness, it's kids to get picked up at 3:00. So no, I am not going. But you said something earlier on about press conferences and stuff like that, and we've had a lot of comments the last couple of days. I hope you're going. You need to tell him he's not wanted. You need to do this. You need to do that. It's not how it works, and it doesn't really make any difference. In fairness to Clement, he's taken absolutely everything we've said to him. And I say we because I'm not the only member of the media that have asked him. Andy Newport, Andy Devlin, the fan media boys have been on top of Philippe Clement in terms of asking him pointed questions. But they make no difference. It's a box ticking exercise, and he's never going to sit and go, do you know what, Stevie, you're right. I would like to see Philippe Clement handle things with a wee bit more humility. I would like to see him say, I got it wrong on Sunday. I take responsibility, my decision making, my substitutes, etc. Because I feel like he never does that. There's always a budget. There's always an excuse.
Yeah.
Would it make me feel any better? I'm not sure, but it would be a different change of tack from him, that's for sure. if we go on today and we hear more about projects and budgets and stuff, people are just sick and tired of hearing it. So, yeah, I won't be along today. And even if I did go, I'm not even sure there's a question I would ask them that makes any difference at all in terms of, you know, what do you plan to do on Sunday? How do you change it, etc., etc. I think it's gone now. I think it's past all that, and nobody's really interested in hearing anything with regard to that either, Derek. So that's only my opinion on it. But no, I'll go and get the kids and wade through primary school parking and all that kind of stuff, which is more fun than going up to the presser, that's for sure.
Good stuff. Stephen gets in touch. He says PLG was 17 points behind in 4th place. I can't remember it being that bad, but I do remember at the time being. I remember when Barry Ferguson was ditched as captain, and the shockwaves that went reverberated around that decision. You know, that was at the beginning of the end, really. And yeah, I can't remember it being as bad as that, but there you go. Right. Thank you to Stevie. Thank you to you all for tuning into the show. It's much appreciated. Remember, folks, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We will be back a little later on. Those of you that are Rangers Review Extra members, we're recording a show later this afternoon. It's dependent on when Joshua's finished from the press conference, but it'll be myself, Johnny, and Joshua as we look ahead to the game on Sunday, discuss potential lineups, what has been a pretty eventful week as well. So we'll be on around about 4:30 for that. And yeah, if we don't speak to you then enjoy your Friday and your weekend. Bye for now.